I wanted to share some thoughts on about transformational leadership and some of the things that I think make a leader transformational. First thing is a burning platform always helps, right? Right. And so, what does that mean exactly? Well, normally, if your business has to do something materially differently to deliver a materially different result, you have to go through some type of transformation, a step change to kind of deliver that. When the need is greatest, the opportunity to kind of get after transformational thinking is greatest, right? So burning platform helps. That's the first take. Secondly, depending on the size of your organization, I believe that there's some, classical things in leadership you should be applying. If you have a small team, it's kind of easy to lead and be inspirational and to be charismatic and all that stuff. Because everyone will get a chance to know who you are as an individual beyond just your organizational context. And so it's easy. But the larger the team you've got, the more difficult it is for everyone to know you and to have that connectedness. And so I've got some, thoughts around some of the traits of transformational leaders that I've seen and experienced and witnessed that I've been trying to replicate in my own life, right? One is kindness is really important. The insight there is that most people work harder for people that they like, right? And so being kind will motivate people to actually do more because of just the likeness framework that likeness virtue that inspires. And so that's one. Kindness, encouragement now. Making sure you're encouraging people to actually do things that are different, right? Really, really cool, right? So establishing goals and making sure people understand the expectations matter. So, bolting on a framework of accountable leadership matters. So those are some, because I think people, when they know what you're expecting of them and it's specific enough to be actionable, and then you can have the thoughtful conversation around, what can I do to help you be successful? I think that's a richly empowering thing. And then obviously the bigger your team is, the more kindness you've got to index to, the more encouragement you've got to index to. And then quite frankly, when you start to see evidence of people doing exceptional things, you got to thank them for it, right? You got to make sure you are appreciative of the effort, the sacrifice, the work in a way that matters to them. And sometimes it's not just the paycheck, it's the management team saying, hey, saw what you did last week, Joe. Fantastic work. Thank you for that. That's driving impact in the following dimensions. Those are some of the thoughts around transformational. The burning platform one, though, is key. And I think in a couple of instances, I've had the privilege of being thrust in a role where we had to actually bring materially different outcomes than the current performance levels and deliver, materially higher outcomes as a consequence. Excited about, those opportunities. Those opportunities represented massive opportunities for growth for me. And I had an interesting conversation with an HR person, took on a kind of a tough challenge recently in her life. And she was like, Walt, I kind of like challenges. And that conversation struck me as wow. I think you cannot be fearful of challenges. Challenges are par for the course. You're going to have challenges in life. You're going to have challenges in work. And so don't be afraid of difficulty, but you've got to plan your work and work your plan and get after mitigating those things that you think could be meaningfully challenging, but also rewarding if successful. And I know in a couple of jobs I've had the privilege of asking myself this question prior to taking the role: is it going to create a significant challenge that would not be offered in my current role? And if the answer was yes, then my thought process was maybe I need to try it. Maybe I need to do it. Maybe I need to put at risk whatever my standard approach was and fundamentally get after pivoting. So, but transformation, and one of the monikers that I proudly wear as a transformational leader, I've done it on deals. I think I've talked about and published one earlier in my career, where as a young procurement guy at J&J, I talked about kind of a transformational deal that pretty much I think resulted in me ascending to vice president at a very young age and then growing within that business. So those are some of the things around transformation that I wanted to make sure I shared as a leader in business.